magician, expect nothing. You know when highs turn to lows and lows turn to highs. Black water, black hat you once again, giving black. Yeah, giving black a little migration, minus the stagnation, elevation. The power of a melanation, eliminating imposters, dark the radar, chart the stars, cosmic dust, moves rust from eroding cars. I'm Logan, sitting in Lotus at the dojo with Shogun, Logan bars and hookahs. Some claim the baller or the shooter, top shotter, name caller. I'm the bell ringer, missing Dale singer, screech saved by the hell bringer. A loose pin in my head caused my dread to fall out. No fear of rules and regulations, laws that have flaws with claws to crawl out. The beast of the belly, flaming heat, torching streets, got me reaching for the Cali, about to go all out. Yeah, my highs turn to lows, my lows turn to highs, my lows.
Yeah, ATD, above the dome, trap of freedom, it's family, tradition, heritage, the missing links, spiritual miracles, the awakenings, the walking sphinx. It's time to eat, food for thought. It's the meta magician, immortal rage. I bleed red ink on the page. Words and truth, no signature. Here's the blur from invisible literature. Sitting at the dock of the bay with Otis, having rituals. Turn the lights off, it can get real quick, sir. Milk and pot mix. I'm in search for a fix. Walking backwards, looking forwards, patiently waiting. Don't ignore it, holding two swords like peace signs aimed at your board.
Want to be caught in the trap of freedom? Do you want to be locked in the trap of freedom? Do you want to be caught in the trap of freedom? Do you want to be locked in the trap of freedom?
Darkness to light, walk into flight, hawk eyesight, interdimensional terabytes, fuel for the journey, some late a fuel for the gurney, colored in the book of law, no need for attorneys. I turn the page, feel the script like a doctor coming out the cage. I'm the lion, fed grain, sticks and stones, no pain, a worker's only worth his gain, attempting to keep my inner sane with lifestyle changes, higher than mountain plains, 7 thoughts, 7 vaults, no faults, who's to blame? It ain't the same, they take your names, I feel the sun, it ain't no
Want to be caught in the trap of freedom? Do you want to be locked in the trap of freedom? Do you want to be caught in the trap of freedom? Do you want to be locked in the trap of freedom?
Yeah, time space is obsolete. Locate the unlocal, way above yet so below. The permanency of non-movement, ATD, above the dome, trap of freedom. It's Blackwater, the meta magician. Mad scientist on the track. Peace.
All right, peace, prosperity, protection, and good health. It is once again on this glorious Sunday, you know what I'm saying, Haru Day. Soulful Soul Food Sunday with seafood Elohee. All right. Sipping tea on Soulful Soul Food Sunday with seafood Elohee. I know that's a tongue twister, but guess what? He's black. All right. And we are going to have another good segment. I'm having a premonition of, just speaking on things that we have already built on for the past few weeks with our inaugural Soul Food Sunday 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. I've been keeping count, but I think it's like 4 in or something. But at any rate, I want to, keep it moving. I want to give thanks to one and all. Give thanks to the family, brothers and sisters out there, First World Order Radio. Give thanks to Dr. Alim and Kadira. And give thanks to the niggas and the guys. You know, the rundown, the whole enchilada, the whole 99. 9 to the ninth power of 9. Infinite to, saying, give you my heart. I'm going to put some more information out there pertaining to the chemistry of nutrition and correct food combining. So we are being able to apply the nutrition to a cellular level with a spiritual level as well and beyond. I was looking at the word chemistry of nutrition. We were speaking on last week Natir, a few weeks in conjunction, but Natir, I know my glasses, give off the glass, so I'm gonna go ahead. Wipe out, take them out, take them off. All right, so I was talking about Natir, but how it derived from, nutrition and nature, those different words derived from the word Natir, meaning divine, and Middle Natir, like Middle Natir is the ancient language, meaning the divine script or divine language, sort of like Divis Nagas in the Sanskrit text or in India, basically, but like Brahmanism and Hinduism. One of the languages called Deva or Deva, Deva Nagas, which basically means the same thing, divine words. So with the wisdom of the divine. So with Middle Natir, divine words or divine script, Natir meaning divine, is where and the words like nature comes from that word basically, and nutrition as well, nutrition, and nutrition could be cycle or nutrition, shu meaning like the breath, like shu the deity, meaning heat as well. It's like the yang aspect of the yin and yang, but basically shin meaning spirit as well. So shin, then you have Nitir Shu in Nitir or nutrition. So nutrition, divine, spirit, nutrition. All right, so different aspects or different angles to look at it, not just from the cellular level, as far as when we when we encase it into the physical from the spiritual, basically, how the chemistry, so Kem being in the black and Istry, Isis, seat, and tree or tub. I think it's T-O, well, it was T-R-A. I think that means boat in Medunetia. So the boat, the seat of the boat, of the black energy or the dark energy, you know what I'm saying? So, or darkness, the boat that seeks the darkness, chemistry. And then you have nutrition. So nutrition, nutrition, divine circle or divine spirit. So the seat of the boat, the darkness within the seat of the boat of the divine spirit, chemistry of nutrition. And we're gonna keep it moving. All right, so hearing is believing, seeing is knowing, experiencing is becoming, and experiencing is being. Before we get deep into it, I'll put this back up. This is it's a flyer that's pertaining to a class that I've held before a couple of years back. I think like 2016, 2015, somewhere around there. And I'm gonna put it back up. If anyone is interested, that's the information that's going to be that I'm going to be distributing as far as what's being offered. So this is what it says, you know what I'm saying? But we're going to be bringing in different qigongs that I participated with and learned different meditations that have been very valuable. We're definitely going to go over in depth the Wajid Hedna Guru and the Nitishu, meditations and qigongs. I put yoga there, but it's basically Semitwai. You know what I mean? So Washington Semitwai is a yoga system that Dr. Ali, myself, and the sister, we have been developing. Oh, and give thanks to my queen, Taliba. She put a meal together, but she's also helping me with some of the washes to cemetery, um, as far as the aspects that's going to be delivered to you guys and what I've already participated with and what they've participated with and I've learned. I put them on. I'm like collaborating all those together and bringing in some different. You know what I'm saying? It's as I applied it to my life, it seems to be working. You know what I'm saying? I ain't complaining. You know, with the Carowinds yesterday, with the Queen running around like an 18-year-old, getting on all the rides and shit. We got the fast lane, so we walking up the steps and stuff, get on every ride and having a blast, you know. And I give thanks, you know what I'm saying? Peace, peace, self elevation, peace, all, you know what I'm saying? Peace, Jabal, um, Ahu, Kamos, peace, God, no doubt. I heard from you in a minute, God. Peace, Jasmine, no doubt. Everybody, give thanks. Let's see where we at. So that's the 9 week online course. It's it's very powerful. I could say, just speaking from my own experience. Everything that I'm gonna go over is gonna have some type of um, it's gonna have some information that you can take home with you, videos for the qigong's and meditation, and we're gonna have written as well as verbal instructions. So it's gonna be like 2 to 3 hours um each discourse and each class, each course. So each class is gonna be on every Friday, starting on December 6th. So we go through December 6th to January 31st each Friday for 2 to 3 hours, just going over different movements, different meditations. I'm going to speak on certain things in more detail than what I'm talking about, like online right here. Don't want to sell yourself, you know what I'm saying? So some of the information I'd be ready, may not be ready for everyone. So it's like, I mean, I do give out a lot of information, but as far as like in detail of my life and everything, it's more private, somewhat. So, and we all been through something, you know, and I vent to get it off with. I want the brothers and sisters to be able to have some other information that's not just pertaining to what I'm talking about online. Like, we like to talk about it. This is very important, but get to know each other. You know what I'm saying? Through other menus and venues. But anyway, let's keep it going. So that's just the flyer for that. Watch the Simbitwai 9 week online course. And my phone is ringing. Hold up. Hello, daughter. What's up?
I got a star.
Hmm?
I got a star.
I'll call you back in a second. All right.
Huh?
I'll call you back.
Why?
I'm on. Hold on. I'll call you back. I'll call you back, John. I love you. All right.
I got the stars from my
She's silly. She made this silly song up. Oh Lord. Jaja, I'm on line right now. I'll call you right back, all right? All right. All right, I love you. That's my silly daughter. She gonna call me, start the song off. All right, I'll get back with it in a few. Okay, so we're gonna start off again by coming out of this text here. The Kemetic died. I've read it a few times. It's gonna just the bridge, just the bridge in between where we been and where we going. You know what I'm saying? So just to keep everything fresh. Where we're coming from, where I'm coming from the last couple of weeks to today and into tomorrow as well. Today is or the past, the presence of our future. I'm gonna read that in a second too. It's something I wrote a couple of years ago, but check it out. This is where we at in this book, Kemetic Diet by Dr. Muwata Ashby. One should not think in terms of dieting, but of embarking on a lifestyle of coming into harmony with the laws of nature, the divine, as it relates to the physical body. This is the practice of truth in life as it relates to the physical body. For some, this is a difficult step as it requires that they abandon the eating habits of the culture in which they grew up or with which they now identify themselves. Thus, there is an emotional, cultural aspect that has to be dealt with. For example, the types of food commonly known within the African American community as soul food is integral to their modern history and culture. However, this diet is probably one of the worst diets with respect to nurturing one's body, mind, and soul. It is anything but soul food. Some call it slave food, as much of its development occurred during the time of American slavery. It is deadly to the physical body and therefore does not nurture one's spiritual evolution. Since one is now free to eat as one pleases, there is really no excuse. There's really no excuse to continue to eat in this manner. Certainly not with the legacy handed down from the ancient Egyptian ancestors or our ancient ancestors. Discovering and implementing the teachings they have left humanity related to diet and health is their legacy, which is yet to be claimed by this generation. As integral as soul food is to the African American community, the meat and potato diet is to the European American community. Again, tradition based in large part on the history of the Wild West and cattling farm is resulting in devastating numbers of people dying and suffering from ill health. Real beef, as it is popularly come to be known, is not the proper fuel for the human body. It is the proper food for carnivores such as dogs, cats, lions, tigers, etc. But humans are not carnivores. Only one has to compare one's dentition, teeth to a dog or cat. Every tooth, even the molars in carnivores, ends in a sharp point or a knife-like blade, while the teeth of humans are for nipping, the incisors and grinding, the molars. In addition, there are many other physiological differences which are discussed. All right, however, the point is that meat is not meant for the human body and consequently will result in disease. And what are we in search for? Again, we're in search for real food. I mean, we was talking about hologram last week, so well, basically anything that's real means permanent, so that means it's forever lasting. Anything that's not real means it's temporal, so basically that means it's not gonna last forever. So when we eating food, we really shouldn't be looking for the taste of it. It's something deeper in there. That's what the chemistry of nutrition is basically. So nutrition, the nutrition, the divine spirit, so the divine intelligence that's within whatever we're eating. It could be any type of information, like from a book or watching something or listening to music. And also, of course, the nutrition from food, but that divine intelligence, that divine spirit within the physical activities and objects or people, person, place, or thing, person, place, or thing, or event. So whatever is residing within that, from the initial spark, basically the undifferentiated energy matter that resides within those objects that we discuss as in where basically we determine as physical things in the objective reality are formed in the subjective reality or the mind plane. So as these things come into a physical realm, they develop from something that's unseen and unknown by the physical eye or the senses. So when we are um, embedded or basically subdued and as well as immersed in and almost stifled or drowning in what we would call physicality or the nature of things in the physical realm, it develops a sense of objectivity toward these things are that are in our circumference as um, physical, it develops a sense of reality that is not real. The real reality is, like that the electron or the waveform that's going through it that we ain't really participate with from a mental plane. So when we develop a awareness of what's really going on within the subjective realm as it flows into the objective, we have a better grasp about what nutrition is or how life is flowing down into us. You know what I'm saying? Each step or level until we have that spark again within, and it causes what some people call enlightenment or that transmutation. The alchemy. You know what I mean? Basically, we have knowledge of self, and we develop a more keen awareness about our actions and our movements as we participate with the physical reality, and also as we unify and connect to the spiritual, from the spiritual to the objective or the physical reality. You know what I'm saying? So noticing that nutrition or that the chemistry of how things flowing, and noticing how disease um, can manifest by way of the distraction, or by way of the things in this reality becoming so real to us, even though they're transitory and they're from something that it is real, but the actual, I know I'm playing around, look, I see myself, but the actual, like I'm looking in the mirror and talking and saying, the actualization of all these things is developed from something that we're not really participating with our five senses. You know what I'm saying? Our five senses are again just electrical interfaces between those different realms that we are connected to. You know what I'm saying? Wherever it may be in the multiverse or whatever you want to call it, the interverse, or the universe, however you want to look at it, it's a connection, just like a power line. You know what I'm saying? From one pole to the next pole, all those poles are connected, but when we ain't interacting with the power line, it's just shooting. Somebody's Duke Energy is taking advantage of it. You know what I'm saying? And getting something off the top. Whereas, we the power, that's going through it. And it is our power, it's our energy. You know what I mean? So to not manipulate it in the wrong way is to know how the nutrition or the divine intelligence is on a higher level, like holistically, like, with whole food versus empty food, or empty calories versus whole calories, how the nutritional part of it, because food is based on nutrition, what we're getting out of it for the application of life. You know what I'm saying? If we're putting something in the body that's killing us, it's not, and it's degenerative or is taken away from the actual adding, or, within that infinitude of that cycle, then that's not what life is about. Life is it's an ongoing cycle, but life is about moving forward. As far as that, the whole thing with the four or the three different phases, or the three different dimensions. You know what I'm saying? Like we was talking about last week, um, um, line, angle, and then a plane that flows into time space eventually. But those those four dimensions, if you will, time space being the fourth dimension, and the fifth dimension of spirit, or where everything's already placed into a cube of physical, but it floats. It's like that's the flat black square or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Where all things already exist, and we're trying to get to that realm. But that, they say this is the age of Aquarius, and the group of Sangha was the fifth dimension. So the age of Aquarius, the age of information. The information is flowing or bouncing off of that. You know what I'm saying? Flat surface, and it start to become more apparent. So it's now, but all that information is a lot coming off of it. So what is your inheritance from that? What is your birthright? You know, all in all, it is all of it, but basically you want to pick up the pieces of your puzzle and put them in place back together. So with the Washington Cemetery classes, I'm gonna speak on that somewhat like I'm speaking on it now, but it's gonna be more visualizations, a lot of different things that we're gonna interact with and have some fun with. You know what I'm saying? So we're getting that real food in. Quote from Dr. Sebi again: real soul food is food that enhances the soul. Our central sun, our melanin, our carbon fruits, vegetables, grains. This is the real soul food. Give thanks, and that's God sent truth right there. Um, the brother, like I said, is a powerful brother. We all know him to be very truthful and honest with what the information he brought to the table. And I'm still eating that information. You know what I'm saying? That's that nutrition right there. You know what I'm saying? You got to put it in there and let it do what it's supposed to do and grow. There's another quote here: "Love is the greatest power, and it is, if natural, divine. If it's divine, the highest invisible food from the infinite for soul and body. So love is the best or the greatest power, and it is, if natural, the highest invisible food from the infinite for the soul and body. Nutrition again. Nutrition, natir, shin, divine intelligence, divine spirit, that breath, you know what I'm saying? Natir shu, the divine breath, so that divine breath, invisible food, getting down into that meditation. But it's also invisible food like this right here. Give thanks to my queen again. Put this meal together before I left her domain earlier, her residence. I've been grubbing on it for about 30 minutes, an hour or so, since about 7 o'clock, off and on. So we got fruits in there somewhere. Tomatoes are fruit. Got seeds. Got some grapes in here. Some red grapes. Olives. These are all fruits, basically. And then we have romaine lettuce, arugula, and spinach in there. Some grains right there in the bread, and tomato in the bread, as well as a bell pepper sandwich I made myself. But it's bell pepper, onions, mushrooms, and snap pea sandwich. So that's like the bell pepper in there and stuff. I ain't gonna take it apart, but you see the bell pepper hanging right there. It's good. It's pretty good. Then she also made some squash and zucchini mixed with mushrooms right there. And I give thanks to Queen Taliba on my heart. But it's all good. It's gonna be good. I will come back to that in a little minute. All right, so I'm bringing up this other. All right, here we go. Acid foods right here. Again, what we was talking about last week. I'll read this again. Thus, the normal processing of fecal matter in the bowels is not eukidu. The putrefaction is due to constipation, etc., caused by the ingestion of wrong foods and the subsequent disease process which develops constitutes the eukidu. The Kemetic diet wisdom teaches that all disease process is understood as the deteriorated condition that the body has come to due to consuming foods that are toxic to the body. Toxins cause the body to become acidic. Therefore, eukidu may be thought of as a condition of acidosis in the body as opposed to the natural healthy condition of alkaline. Acidity, toxicity, corrodes and breaks down the metu, or the vessels, and the organs of the body, promoting a weakness in the immune system and disease. Disease, again, is no comfort or no movement. The restoration of the alkaline condition of the body through a proper diet, promoting healing and prevention of disease, since the body's natural immune system is not being compromised. So let me read. The restoration of the alkaline condition of the body through a proper diet promotes healing and prevention of disease, since the body's natural immune system is not being compromised or damaged. So those are acid form foods right there. Seen that before a few times probably. I've seen it. Don't do it. Don't do it. We was at Carowinds for 4 hours yesterday, I guess, or somewhere around there. We got there about 2, left at 6:30, so roughly 4 hours. And we ain't eat nothing. We ain't get no drink or nothing like that. We ate something before, a light meal before. I think I ate some oatmeal. And Queen had what did she have? some vegetables, and a smoothie. She had a smoothie actually. She made a banana smoothie with strawberries and some protein, like protein blend. And that's what we had that morning before we headed out on a little journey. But we ain't eat nothing there. We was smelling it too, smelling the grease on the French fries, them pretzels and pretzel bites, pizza, hamburgers, cheeseburger, all that stuff right there, nachos and with cheese and this stuff. I'm like, dang, I'm reminiscing. You can almost taste it. Like, whoa, it's in the air. You smell it and just like start salivating, like the Pavlov experiment with them dogs. We sitting there going through like, dang. Let's hurry up about it and get some. But we went out after at a Thai restaurant and pretty much shut them down. Shut them down. They was happy to see us. Probably won't see us ever again. Because it's a different city. But we ate pretty good. I think the ticket was like 61 on the end, even 61 because we both had nice meals. We had leftovers, of course. We didn't eat all of it, but we we went and we had a good time. That was peace. But one of the other things I want to speak about is in food combining is also the correct format of placing the food items in the mouth, with food combining. But I'm just going to break this down real easy and simple. The most alkaline food items go first. Otherwise, it might be looking like that right there. At the end of the day, I said, don't do it. But basically, you want to put in the most watery foods first. So if you're drinking water, drink the water or tea, first, and then go into, if you got soups, something like that, go into the soups. Fruit would be next after the water. You know, if you're doing soup and it's vegetables, you could wait because then, a little bit of liquid here and there. But, sometimes normally if I eat out, I ain't gonna have no fruit on my plate. It'll be most of the time, unless you're making your own salad, there's no fruit salads out there like to talk about. But I mean, they might have tomatoes on it and everything, but basically you do the most alkaline be the liquid first. Soups if you want, if you're eating a soup, and then if you have fruits, make sure you eat your fruits between. I would do it before the soup personally, but you do liquids, fruits. Fruits are more alkaline than vegetables. Then do your vegetables. Then from the vegetables, you go into your grains, and from grains you go to your proteins. Proteins being the longer amino acid chain, they're going to take longer to digest, so you put them on last. If you put the fruit on first, it's going to break down a lot faster. 30 minutes it takes normally for fruits and vegetables because they're already watery, and the pH of the stomach is the way it is, or the acidity of the stomach is the way it is, so it breaks it down. And then you put in the carbohydrates because that's a somewhat of a longer amino acid chain than the fruits, so it's going to take 1 to 2 hours to digest that. Then you put in your harder proteins. With me it would be a grain too, because that's where I eat the way I eat. So basically, it's fruits, vegetables, and grains. So like with that bread being is a rice bread, I'm gonna eat that last. So even if now I'm probably ain't gonna eat. And I took a couple of bites about an hour ago of the sandwich after I was eating the salad, and then I prepared for this. So I might go back in on it a little bit because it's 8:23. Time to go back or whatever they say. Time is time. Time is movement. It really didn't do nothing. We looking at it like that though. So, but don't get caught up on that. You know what I'm saying? It's stay in the circadian of the year with the sun. So just follow the sun. If you're gonna follow anything, follow yourself basically. You know what I mean? Knowledge of self, knowledge of self, knowledge of soul, knowledge of the sun, the cycle, and how it's flowing through you when you are flowing through it. It is you, basically. You know what I mean? All right, so we're going to get into some more to read in a second. Nutrition, and we're going to be going into how to detox and clean out some of that filth, that filthy. And if we manage, according to the ancient Egyptian medical writings, the Yakitu is the cause of pain and disease in the physical body. And again, Yakitu is disease cycle, basically the way disease is functioning and going through your body, going through our body, word discomfort, basically. You know what I mean? And we want to talk more about the Yakitu or acid and mucus in one moment as well. Mm. Pull up this info. All right, like I said, I'm gonna read this. It's a dissertation I wrote for a class that I was a student of that was being held by Dr. Valentine a few years back. He would have us write short dissertations pertaining to the class curriculum, whatever we was talking about in that certain class. We would write like a 500-word little essay or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So this one was called "Our Past is the Presence of Our Future." The most imperative aspect of man's life is her history. Dr. John Henrik Clarke expressed it best in his statement that all history is a current event. History has been portrayed by song, poetry, or an oral recap given by one's elder siblings. By far, though, through my own evaluation, history's greatest means of reaching beyond the dark, dismal shells of the past is via symbol and symbolic metaphor. By way of symbol, we gain a conclusive comprehension of the vast intelligence that generated the monumental civilizations and cultures as that of the ancient ancestors, as well as have access to historical data that connects not only the specific thought form to pastful, insightful information, it also has the potential to alter one's present psychology into that of a prominent wise high priest or priestesses, Naga or Nagu. When this history is broken, the origin dismantled into fragmented illogical hearsay, the persona and utmost character of the peoples whose traditions and heritage have been forgotten, devolve from the parameters of truth revolving around who they are to the lackluster for the want of knowledge of self, due to the undermining deceit of those who claim to give refuge to these displaced persons who only seek light to fill the dark spaces of the past. A very important topic that really has become one of the most vicious epidemics known to man is our consumption of toxic, denatured, genetically modified foods. In the observation of my two sons, I have been granted a key analysis to the necessity of a healthy regimen and also how one's lifestyle can influence the intelligent growth or non-growth of life that may be conceived. My oldest son was conceived by his mother and I when she was 15 years old, and yours truly was 18. We were both energetically infatuated with the sensual pleasures of life. I was at that time a rebel without a cause, rolling them up and drinking them down. Who could care less about the ingredients of my daily ration of soda pop, cheeseburgers, and french fries from the local fast food restaurant? And my ex-wife likewise was a non-observant participant indulging in a ritualistic breakfast of bacon, sausage, or ham every morning. My youngest son was conceived 5 years later inside of our marriage. We had both, my ex-wife and I, had since stripped ourselves of drinking sodas, eating pork, beef, and eggs, and myself had personally slowed down on what I was terming my addiction as a recreational use of alcohol and drugs. I had also been introduced to conscious information that I would express to my ex-wife very frequently. My oldest son, who is now 20, struggled through his career in school, has been very alienated and rebellious and does not take supervision or parental instruction to heart. My youngest son, in contrast, who is 15 now, hasn't made a C in any classes since his inception in school and is in his second year of early college at the local community college. He also takes instruction and is well disciplined. The point here is that our eating habits during the conception process of both children was conditioned in connection with our personality. generated from past influences of our environment that in essence produce the proteins and nutrients along with other essential elements that form the semen and egg that imminently form both children. In the case of my first son, my theory is that his mother and I indulging in an unhealthy way of life and imitating others' impractical way of living caused his physical, emotional, and mental spiritual growth to be stunted due to the improper assimilation of his original essence in the initial stages of his life. Whereas when my youngest son was being developed, his mother and I were consuming the proper elements and were engaged in healthy conscious information. In conclusion of this observation of my two sons, it can be stated that imitation leads to limitations, and reflected that our past is the presence of our future. I give thanks. Like I said, that's something I wrote a few years ago. So the ages of my sons were a little bit. My oldest son is now 24, so that was 4 years ago. My youngest son is 19, so yeah, So I said 15 and 20. So it's been 4 years since I wrote that, and it still holds truth though, even though the ages are different. What we are putting in affects the genome. If not even just the food items, but the information that we put in is going to affect the next generation. So when I in my observation, like I said, I noticed that when I was reading to my youngest son, and he was in the womb, even outside of the womb when he came, forth by day, what I mean, Pratim Haru, um, I saw in his growth he was a little different from my youngest son. Where I mean, I'm gonna be honest, in my younger days, when I was like 20 when my first son was born, and when by the time he was 3, I was 23. I'm drinking. I used to hand him the 40. Unknowingly. I don't know. I guess I want that buddy or something. He was smoking at by the age of 4. He doesn't smoke or drink now, but then said I really wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. It's like I was obsessed and possessed, by some type of energy and that was the senses basically. The five senses is the five thieves again, but also it could take over. That animal nature or the lower self can take over, especially if we're not aware. So when I did become aware of what was taking place, and I saw different changes in myself that were not healthy, I started to transition into a more holistic or more conscious lifestyle, being more aware of what I was doing and how I was acting, because I had another son that was coming, but as well as I was just noticing that something went right in 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 particularly in my life, what I mean. But as we continued, I saw what was going on. It was choices that had to be made. Do I want this apple or do I want this cheeseburger? So is there any nutrition in this cheeseburger that's going to help the growth of the genome or myself, basically knowledge itself, cells, soul, or is something more prominent that's in this apple? You know what I'm saying? Although we may be under a particular umbrella of a lot of different chaotic scenarios that could be the outcome, even if it ate the apple, because of the genetically modified processes or basically how they spraying that shit with chemtrails and insecticides and all different type of things. But is it going to be healthier than that cheeseburger though, which is a conglomerate of hell, basically in a sandwich. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, if we were meant to eat sandwiches, nature would have formed a sandwich tree or a Skittle tree. We have a McDonald's tree out there. We have, a Coca-Cola tree growing from the ground. Ain't nothing like that popping out, but we do have an apple tree. You know, if you know the math on apple pie versus apple, if you cut that apple up, put it in a bag or something, throw it in the ground, that apple is going to bring forth life, but it's also going to have some maggots. It's going to have some maggots around it, something like that. But you put an apple pie in the ground, and the same way with plastic bag and everything, ain't gonna bring forth no life. It ain't gonna bring forth another apple tree. It's gonna have some mold on it. It might not do nothing. It might look the same when you bring it back about 10 grams. I don't know if it's healthy to eat, because real shit gonna decompose and transition. I mean, as far as like the physical side of it, if it's like that, what I'm saying? The spiritual side of it is floating within that transition, and that's the nutrition or that divine intelligence, what I'm saying? It's gonna develop another tree. That that apple pie is gonna definitely be maggots. You know what I'm saying? I take that back. That apple probably ain't gonna be no maggots in a day. It might be a while. If it do, it's got to be some heat to it. But if you put it in the ground, it's gonna turn into an apple tree. Whereas that apple pie, you come back the next day, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna have maggots all in it and earthworms and shit eating it or whatever from being in the earth. You know, in the way it is, it's not going. You ain't gonna want to eat it. It ain't gonna bring forth life either. So that ain't meant to be ate or consumed. All right, so again, we was talking about acid and acidosis and things that are bringing about a very aggressive exchange within our lifestyle. So I'm gonna read this. It's about like foods that cause mucus in the body and foods that eliminate the mucus in the body. If you are one of the 220 million Americans who fail to get the recommended servings of fruits and vegetables each day, it may be leaving your body in a dangerously deficient, inflamed, and acidic state. Most foods in the American diet, the standard American diet, the SAD diet, are highly acidic, and without defending all that acid with alkalizing fruits and vegetables, you're sure to experience some rather uncomfortable consequences. Again, when I look at alkalizing and acidic, I look at also yin and yang. So the yin aspect will be alkalizing, that's the water. The um, yang aspect of yin and yang would be the acid, that's fire. So when we are dealing with the two natures of it, the physical or the movement is the acid, that's the fire. The spiritual or the receptiveness to be able to change is the spiritual. That's the yin, the feminine aspect. Whereas the masculinity, the acid aspect is the fire. So the physical side right now is what we are participating with, and more so that 80% acid instead of 80% of life or nature, Mother Nature, muter natir. You know, mut meaning basically life or regeneration, her face, regenerative face of nature or the divine, muter, nature, or natir, muter natir, or natir muter, her meaning face or light, and move the deity that is pertaining to the vulture is talking about regeneration and how the vulture will pierce her own side, you know, to be her her bird, her young whatnot, because she knows it's about the next generation. So she'll basically kill herself so that the young will live. Just think if you are experiencing any of these signs that your body is potentially lacking in many critical nutrients, nutrition, while being in a state of toxic acid overload. These are the signs: fatigue, feeling sluggish, tired, and heavy, increased cravings, especially for sweets, excess body fat and trouble losing weight, skin issues, brain fog, weakened frail bones, joint discomfort, sensitive teeth, trouble sleeping, digestive distress, and that's just naming a few. If acid can burn a hole through metal, just think of what excessive acid levels are doing to the inside of the body, the digestive system, immune system, joints, and muscles. Without a doubt, these concerns of excess internal acid are no laughing matter, and even worse, they only continue to fester and get worse if left unaddressed. But what specifically causes excess acid, and what can we do about it? For starters, as mentioned, the typical American diet is extremely acidic in nature. Just look at all these common acid producing foods. All grains, that's pastas, breads, pastries, crackers, cereals, rice, and oats, and etc. refined sugars and sugary foods. We spoke on that. You know, in America, the average person consumes 150 pounds of sugar a year. That's that refined white sugar. All meats are acid forming. Many types of beans are acid forming. Cheese and other dairy products are acid forming. Many types of nuts and seeds are acid forming. Alcohol, soft drinks, coffee, and other caffeinated beverages. Most sweeteners, both natural and artificial, that's molasses, honey, maple syrup, they're acid forming because of the sugar content. Many condiments such as mustard, ketchup, mayonnaise, and soy sauce. If you're anything like me though, you probably done had something like that yesterday or today. Because we buy these packaged food like that bread is acid forming, basically because it is a grain. Even though it's rice, it's still acid forming. But 80-20, 80% of the diet, for me anyway, since my cell is 80% water, so 80% of my meal is gonna be raw, water like stuff throughout the day. And 20% like that sandwich or even the cooked vegetables because they're cooked, but they're steamed, so the nutrients are still intact. It might not be the way it came off the sun, off the tree or the bush, but it has more nutrients than frying, a hamburger that's already, dead anyway, or it has that dead energy in it anyway. So it's not nutritious. It has no nutritional content. It's denatured. Um, So, 80-20, 80% raw if possible, or 60% raw and 40% other, and work your way up from there. But other causes of acid buildup in the body is stress, an inactive lifestyle, and not drinking enough water, which none of us really do in a day, 8 glasses a day, what they say. You know what I'm saying? Maybe even more, but get that water in. If you suffer from a chronic cough that won't go away, wake up with puffy, crusty eyes in the morning. Hold on, let me get back over here. That's like the microvilli that's in the stomach, the mucosa, basically. Um, so if you wake up with puffy and crusty eyes in the morning, or you have bad breath throughout the day, then you may be suffering from excess mucus production. In fact, there are over 12 foods that cause excessive mucus in the body. Some that may come to a surprise, and others not so much. Excessive mucus is a sign that the body is in a state of agitation. It can come from toxins, pollutants, allergies, and food additives, and often involves the lymphatic system, gastrointestinal tract, and respiratory system. The role of mucus in the body, um, basically, that's not to say the mucus doesn't play a major role in the body. It is produced by different mucus cells or goblet cells among the epithelial lining of organs like the intestinal and respiratory tracts. They are found inside the bronchia, trachea, and large bronchioles in the respiratory tract, as well as the small intestines, the large intestines, and conjunctiva in the upper eyelid. Mucus is produced to protect the mucous membranes where they are found. The problem occurs when there is excess mucus production, which can be stimulated by irritants like dust, smoke, other pollution, chemicals, bacteria, and viruses, food additives, and food allergens. Excess mucus is produced to capture these particles and shuttle them out of the body, meaning more coughing, stuffy nose, and a harder time breathing, and more. Too much mucus, and so if you suffer from too much mucus production, you may experience one or more of these following symptoms. You suffer from a chronic cough. Um, it's a little nasty picture right here, but check them out. It happens. You are currently experiencing mucus from a cold or flu. You wake up with puffy and crusty eyes in the morning, bad breath throughout the day, even after brushing your teeth. You have a constant stuffy nose. Your senses are dull. Require lots of salt to make food taste good. Senses are not sharp. Mind is foggy, and thinking clearly is difficult. These symptoms are often a result of a sluggish digestive tract, respiratory system, and lymphatic system, which could be caused by excess mucus production. The digestive tract contains millions of tiny microvilli that absorb nutrients from food. In fact, over 80% of all absorption, oops, 80% of all absorption takes place in the small intestines. When we have excess mucus buildup in the intestine, it causes a glue-like buildup that sticks in the folds of the intestinal walls. This accumulation deforms the intestines and results in over 9 to 10 pound blockages in the average man or woman. This obstruction results in absorption issues, digestive problems, and an overall sick and poor functioning body. Although excess mucus production can come from allergies, um, aka pollen, pet dander, smoke or dust, household chemicals, pollution, or bacteria and viruses, a major cause of mucus production is from the diet or um, sustenance. Certain beverages and foods can trigger excessive mucus production in the body. This picture here is mucus in a stool, but basically it was out of a toilet, but that's what came out. That's when eliminated, and that's what was left out of as far as the mucus. This is oh, my bad. Somebody's eye right there. Mucus discharge. Certain beverages and foods can trigger excessive mucus production in the body. Two main foods that cause excessive mucus buildup are dairy and wheat. Casein and dairy products, milk, yogurt, cheese, etc., and gluten and wheat require strong stomach acids for digestion. Once digestion is complete, food particles are left over that are too big to be used by the body. These partially digested food particles putrefy and become coated with a thick mucus to prevent further putrefaction in the intestines. That's what those bumps are now when we get them pimples and stuff and things like that. It's basically petrified or putrefaction taking place, putrefied food items that was too large to be broken down by our stomach and or stomach acids and is left in the body floating around and collectively as it forms where those larger food particles keep continuing to form, they go to different spots and cause those skin issues, and then later on it could end up being something even more um, chronic. Seeing as how a large percentage of the North American diet is made up of dairy and wheat, many people carry bodies that are in a chronic state of fighting off a sort of viral invasion. The body gets confused by the foreign products entering the mouth like dairy and wheat products and thus naturally protects itself by fighting these food particles, causing inflammation and triggering excess mucus. To be a little more specific, here's a long list of foods that create mucus in the body, or you could do, um, disease process. Dairy products, yogurt, milk, sour cream, cottage cheese, all corn products, eggs, sugary treats, that's cookies, cakes, pies, pastries, wheat, bread, pretzels, buns, bagels, muffins, etc. Deep fried foods, all soy products, safflower, sunflower oil, which basically, and canola oil as well as with coconut, cottonseed oil, peanut oil. They're all omega sixes, and they omega sixes cause inflammation, and those are the oils that are usually put into breads. Most anything that's a packaged item that has to have any type of oil and longer shelf life. That's what they put in potato chips, candy, or like candy bars and stuff. You'll see some type of oil in it. Okay, but also jams and jellies cause um, mucus, high fat red meat, alcohol, and caffeine. So if you notice, the acid forming food items that we was just speaking on, they're almost identical to the mucus forming food items. You know what I'm saying? Because the mucus is basically trying to fight off the acid forming uh, um, things that we are placing into the body. So eliminating foods that cause mucus is key to helping the body function at an optimal pace. Hold up. Raw fruits and vegetables are one of the best mucus cleansers out there. When switching to a high raw plant-based lifestyle, mucus issues subside and health may be improved tenfold. There are also certain foods that can relieve excess mucus. These include radishes, all leafy greens, and herbs, cauliflower and broccoli, garlic, celery, asparagus, bamboo shoots, onions, ginger, and turmeric. Citrus fruits like lemons, limes, grapefruits, oranges, kumquats, pineapples, berries like strawberries, blackberries, blueberries, raspberries, Brussels sprouts, hot peppers. So those are some of the food items that can eliminate or help eliminate mucus and acid out of your body. The ones that causes those issues are processed foods as well as dairy products. Wheat and dairy are two of the most vicious culprits in that exchange, as well as sugar. All right, so taking those out of the diet, you could definitely see a very positive effect on your physical, but also your emotions and your mind that's flowing from nutrition now, or the divine spirit from the spiritual realm. Fake food or dead food ain't got no nutrition. There ain't no life in it. Nutrition is divine life, basically. You know what I mean? Divine intelligence. Something that ain't intelligent really ain't got no life, basically. Or if you think about it in the right perspective. It's inanimated, but the inanimated reality is where everything is coming from. The animated reality has function through that intelligence of life. But we're getting a download of death and participating with it inside of the live body, so it's causing us to be spiritually dead from the onset of spirit into the physical. But it's like it's a flip flop on it because we taking in dead physical items into a live body, and it's creating or forming a mental or emotionally dead and a mentally dead individual way to do itself with no participation of or connection to the self or the higher self, the spirit, the intelligence that's forming this thing. Keep it flowing. So yeah, we in search of real food, and ain't necessarily something you can put in your mouth and chew on, like talk about something you may put in the medulla oblongata, the mouth of God. You know what I'm saying? And reflect on that and see where we're going as far as in that up and down fluctuation. Hold up. Hey. I got to be more careful. I'm just choking on my own saliva. That's funny. Um. Okay. Let me switch this. Switch this pick out right here. get back to where we are. All right, so now I'm gonna go over some. I'm gonna go over correct food combining and what and what that is basically is how we are been led to believe that certain things, how we placing things into the body. We eat a sandwich and don't even notice some of the things that within that bread and whatever may be on the sandwich, be it vegetable or like lettuce, tomato, or be it the dairy like cheese or whatnot, or maybe it's even the meat, the protein, or the egg, how they're not compatible as far as in digestion. All right, so the chemistry of nutrition and the chemistry of digestion. Who's mentioning, something at the very onset of today's vernacular, but correspondence, you know what I'm saying? But not, I was about to say lecture, but today's meeting of the minds, vernacular correspondence, how how we are consuming the food. Start at the most watery alkaline type food, water, then fruit, then the soup, then your salad, if you're having a salad, and then go to your carbohydrate like grains, whatever, like rice, or if you eat corn or quinoa or couscous, whatever it may be, the grain, then the harder protein last, and that should be the least, um, as far as portional sizes, that should be the smallest size food that we eat is the protein. Okay, so as well as how we putting it in, chew the food. It's called mastication. Chew it until you got fluid in your mouth. You know what I'm saying? And then swallow down. And drinking as well. Drink it. Then this is how I drink right here. When I'm taking in some fluids, I grab my drink. Swig it around a few times. Make sure them TMGs, what is the temporal molar joints or whatever, go down and start producing the enzymes in the mouth, the back molars. When you feel that fluid, that's enzymes in the mouth. I think it's amylase, something like that. But that starts breaking down starches and carbohydrates. But just take a swig of water. And then swallow down. A lot of people, they was, go, I can't even do it. But, and check a love, get thanks. But if you're doing that, you're not really getting the digestion started. Digestion starts in the mind, you know what I'm saying? So being aware and mindful of what you're about to take in, no talking and stuff like that. But it's called eat your drinking and drink your food. So like if I'm taking some grub, I'm putting some salad in, like a olive, tomato. Mm, have some. um, but I'm putting some salad. Mm, mm, mm. I get the whole spiral going on in my mind. So it starts in the mind. Yeah, this is like a muscle memory too, because I do this all the time. I sit there, I won't be saying nothing to nobody. Dr. Eileen once said, "Well, you pray over everybody, don't you?" So I get quiet and into breaking down. And I really, really get into breaking down each piece of the food, seeing it, taste. I mean, really being mindful of what's on it. Just really taste, not just like gulping it down, scarfing it in. It's just not even really participating with the exchange of nutrition. Actually, I go to them zeros and ones like in the matrix, and really look into the deeper aspect of what's going into my body at that time. That's why I don't really talk much. But also, you don't want to let oxygen go down into from your lungs into your stomach because that's going to cause indigestion and we being there burping, and not breaking down the food. You know what I'm saying? The end is just not digesting the food, so it's not the transition. It's not fluid. It's not the movement is being obstructed. So that's a way to do your food when remember, drink your food, eat your drink. So take a sip of your water. If it's the first thing, just wait about 5 to 15 minutes after that. Start consuming. Take your time with the water. For each one, that's going to help with digestion. It's going to help move that stuff out of your body a lot easier. That's not necessary. You know what I'm saying? It's attached to those other items that you may be consuming. So correct food combining and how to avoid indigestion and acidosis. So if we really desire optimal athletic or non-athletic physiological health, power, strength, and endurance, we must fully embrace the importance of maintaining a proper acid-alkaline balance in relation to the acid-alkaline theory of eating acid-alkaline foods according to proper food combining principles, so that we will possess millions of healthy cells that are full of energy for optimum physiological and biological functions of our body. We must avoid at all costs acid-forming diets that will lead to indigestion and acidosis. They will eventually rob us of our cellular energy required to attain the ultimate health, power, strength, and endurance that our body can possess. It is not what we eat, but what we digest and assimilate that adds to our health, strength, and usefulness. An unrestrained digestion may be guaranteed only to the degree to which we guard our stomachs against food combinations and mental and physical conditions which disturb and impair digestion. A stomach that is rotten with decay will not supply to the body the calories and vitamins originally contained in the food eaten. So again, a stomach that is rotten with decay will not supply to the body the calories and vitamins originally contained in the food eaten. Following proper food combining rules will allow you to make excellent food combining recipes that will establish a very healthy food combining sustenance a food combining way of obtaining substance. Acid starch combinations. All right, so we're going into the combinations. Acid starch combinations. So never eat a carbohydrate food and an acid food at the same meal. Do not eat bread, potatoes, peas, bananas, beans, dates, or other carbohydrates with lemons, limes, oranges, grapefruits, pineapples, tomatoes, or other sour fruit. This is why the enzyme ptyalin acts only in an alkaline medium. It is destroyed by a mild acid. Fruit acids not only prevent carbohydrate digestion, but they also favor their fermentation. Oxalic acid, that's OXALIC acid diluted to 1 part in 10,000, completely arrests the action of ptyalin. There is enough acetic acid in 1 or 2 teaspoonfuls of vinegar to entirely suspend salivary digestion. Tomatoes should never be combined with any starch food. They may be eaten with leafy vegetables and fat foods like in a salad. The combination citric, malic, and oxalic acids found in tomatoes, which are released and intensified by cooking, is incompatible to alkaline digestion of starches in the mouth and stomach. They should not be used on salads at a starch meal. Protein carbohydrate combination. Never eat a concentrated protein and a concentrated carbohydrate at the same meal. This means do not eat nuts, meat, eggs, cheese, or other protein foods at the same meal with bread, cereals, potatoes, sweet fruits, cakes, etc. That sounds like a lot of people are going to be like, oh, hell, what I'm going to eat? But this is like the Earl of Sandwich is credited with having invented the sandwich, right? Which is a modern nutritional abomination. It's the abominable snowman of food. The hamburger, the same atrocity. is also a modern food innovation. Egg sandwiches, cheese sandwiches, ham sandwiches, and similar protein starch combinations, they are of recent origin. And again, nature never produced a sandwich tree. So we shouldn't really be eating that sandwich is, like I said, is a nutritional abominable snowman. The digestion of carbohydrates, which is starches and sugars, and the protein is so different that when they are mixed in the stomach, they interfere with the digestion of each other. An acid process and the alkaline process cannot be carried on at the same time. An acid process is gastric digestion, and the alkaline process is salivary digestion. Can't be carried on at the same time in an ideal way in the stomach. In fact, they cannot continue together at all for long, as the rising acidity of the stomach content soon completely stops carbohydrate digestion, and this is followed by fermentation. So it get old. So this is talking about beans right here. Beans contain about 25% protein and approximately 50% carbohydrate or starch. This doubtlessly accounts for the difficult digestion and the redness with which they ferment. Beans are a bread and meat combination, and each of their two principal constituents requires entirely different process for digestion. So the protein and the carbohydrate, which is the two constituents or the two main ingredients within beans, require entirely different processes of digestion. The starch of the bean lies in the stomach, while while its protein is being digested and including and excluding under the most favorable of circumstances ferments producing gas and toxins. That's why we start having gas and become um, flatulent after eating beans. You just soak them if we're going to eat them, but that still doesn't, it won't kill off the fermentation process like that. One of the best rules for eating, which I can offer you, is to avoid all beans. This does not include green beans, which contain little starch. And I had some green beans on my plate right there. Matured or dry beans of all types are known by everyone to quickly ferment when eaten and produce much gas. The strong gastric juices of the stomach, which is engaged in digesting proteins, impedes starch digestion. Pythagoras advised that we eat no beans, and he got that from the ancient ones as he came back um, from Kemet, and they eat no beans around there like to talk about. Protein combination. Never consume two concentrated proteins at the same meal. Do not eat nuts and meat. Hold up. Do not eat nuts and meat or eggs and meat or cheese and nuts or cheese and eggs, etc. at one meal. Do not use meat and milk or eggs and milk or nuts and milk at the same meal. Indeed, if taken at all, milk is best taken alone. Protein combination. Never consume two concentrated proteins at the same meal. So two proteins of different characters and different compositions which call for different types of digestive juices, each of different strength and character, and being poured into the stomach at different times should not be consumed at the same meal. One protein at a meal should be the rule. There is protein in everything one eats, but in most foods there is such a small amount that we ignore it when in combinations. All the rules for combining foods should be recognized and applied only to the concentrated starches, sugars, fats, and proteins. So apply these rules especially to proteins, sugars, and carbohydrates or starches, and fats, proteins, starches, and sugars. Thank you, goddess. Yeah, everything good. Do not consume proteins with fats. This means do not use cream, butter, oil, etc. with meat, eggs, cheese, nuts, and etc. That's like putting butter in on or oil to cook that fried egg. Boil your eggs. Um, all right, fat depresses the action if you're going to eat eggs. Eggs are um, acid forming. This is a protein, but they're one of the best ways to get certain nutrients like vitamin D3 and B12 if one chooses to take that route by consuming some type of food item. So, all right, so fat depresses the action of the gastric glands and inhibits the pouring out of the proper gastric juices for meats, nuts, eggs, or other protein. Fats mixed with foods delays the development of appetite juice and diminishes its quantity. So fats, that's oil, fats suppress the action of gastric glands. So when you mix it with meat and cheese, nuts have oil in it, but don't mix. It has fat in it, but when you're mixing those together, it the fats mixed with foods delays the development of appetite juice or the juices to break down the enzymes to break down those food items so we get the nutrients out of it. Acid protein combination. Do not eat acid fruits with proteins. This means no oranges, tomatoes, lemons, pineapples, etc. should be eaten with meat, eggs, except with protein fats such as avocado, cheese, or nuts. So, acid fruits with proteins, the only way that it's going to be broken down properly is if you eat it with avocados, cheese, or nuts. No oranges, tomatoes, or lemons, pineapples should be eaten with meat, eggs, except with protein fats. So, throw that avocado over there in that egg if you're eating eggs like scrambled eggs or something, or basically even if you're doing the boiled egg and you chop up some avocado with it is all right. Instead of orange juice, grapefruit juice, pineapple juice, etc., assisting in the digestion of proteins when taken along with these, as it is taught in certain quarters, these acids actually retard protein digestion. So drinking orange juice with your cereal or egg and bacon and all that is actually causing indigestion. You can feel it in the chest sometimes. If you've been doing it for a while, like drinking orange juice with your meal or breakfast or something like that, you have that feeling in your stomach or your chest right there under your left quadrant or your left pec. That's indigestion. Do not consume starches and sugars together. Jellies, jams, fruit butter, sugar, honey, syrups, molasses, etc. on bread, cake, or at the same meal with cereals, potatoes, etc., or sugar with cereal will produce fermentation. Hot cakes with honey or syrup are an outrage. We're getting them flat cakes and waffles and Eggos and stuff. Put all that jam on the toast and do not consume starches and sugars together. So that means honey and syrups and molasses and things like that on bread, or the cake with all that icing and sugar in it, and cereals with milk as well. But cereal with the sugar and things added to it. Hot cakes with honey and or syrup on it. You know what I'm saying? They're all very degenerative. The practice of eating starches that have been disguised by sweets is a bad way to eat carbohydrates. If sugar is taken in, the mouth quickly fills with saliva, but no potassium is present. Potassium is vital to starch digestion. If the starch is disguised with sugar, jellies, jams, syrups, etc., the taste buds are deceived and carbohydrate digestion is impaired. Monosaccharides and disaccharides ferment quicker than do polysaccharides because polysaccharides, meaning many sugars, is a longer amino acid chain and are likely to ferment in the stomach while in anticipation of starch digestion. So monosaccharides are like fruits and stuff like that. Disaccharides are more like processed foods, but they ferment quicker than do polysaccharides and are likely to ferment in the stomach while in anticipation of starch digestion. Sugar combined with starch results in fermentation. It means a sour stomach. It means discomfort, like gas and all that. Those who are addicted to the honey eating practice and who are laboring under the popular fallacy that honey, which is a natural sweet that may be eaten indiscriminately, should know that this rule not to take sweets with starches applies to honey as well. Honey or syrup, it makes no difference which, with your hot cakes or cereals or honey or sugar to sweeten your cakes. These combinations spell fermentation. White sugar, brown sugar, raw sugar, imitation brown sugar, which basically is white sugar that has been colored. Blackstrap molasses or other syrup with starches means fermentation. Soda will neutralize the resulting acids. It will not stop the fermentation. So when we're drinking soda, whatever, it just neutralizes the acids and it doesn't stop the fermentation process. And that fermentation basically means putrefaction, which leads to stinky arm and funky toe. Do the funky toe. Alright, so starch combinations. Eat but one concentrated starch food at a meal. The rule to consume only one starch food at a meal is probably more important as a means to avoid the overconsumption of various starches than as a means of avoiding bad combinations. While the overeating of starches may lead to fermentation, there is no certainty that the combination of two starches would do so. So, two starches, two proteins, just overindulgence in more than one type of food item in the meal. It's normally like good vegetables, sorry, fruits, but sugar combination as well. So eat sugars like fruits and starchy foods as separate meals. Fruits are sugary and of course starchy foods, carbohydrates is sugar foods as well, like a sweet potato or something. Basically, the rule for combining various sugars resulting from various food classifications such as starch or fruits may result in indigestion due to bad food combining practices that would lead to fermenting some of the sugars from these food classifications. The major reason for this fermentation process would simply be due to the various digestive times required to break these foods into sugars that the body would accept. Remember, sugar or glucose is used for energy in the body. It's basically the nutrition that we're looking for to form and spark off those neurons so it can, continue to fly. An example of this rule would be the combination of acid fruit sugars, which must be digested within an hour, with sweet fruit sugars such as cherries, dates, figs, raisins, and grapes that require up to 3 hours to be properly digested. The sugars from the acid fruits would be held up, waiting up to 3 hours or more to be digested and would ferment because they were not properly digested within a fixed time frame of 1 hour. Starchy foods require 2 hours or more before the various digestive stages convert the starch to a sugar that will be accepted by the body cells as nutrients. Again, the sugars from the acid fruits will be held up while waiting to be digested for up to 2 hours or more and would ferment. In addition, the acids from these fruits would destroy the starch enzymes and starch digestion would be suspended. Taking melons alone. Do not consume melons with any other foods. Watermelon, muskmelon, honeydew melon, pie melon, cassava melon, cantaloupe, and other melons should always be eaten alone. These foods decompose very quickly in the stomach because they're highly alkalizing and are almost sure to cause trouble if eaten with other foods. If eaten alone, a meal made of them, even a smoothie, the queen made a cantaloupe milk the other day. It was just cantaloupe. Man, I'm talking about the best drink you ever. If you ain't never had it, it's the best drink you ain't never had in your life. You need to check it out. Just get you the cantaloupe if you can find them. Cut them in half. Break it down off of the rind. Put that joint in the blender. Don't even add no water because they straight up alkalize like a watermelon. You ain't gotta add water to watermelon if you cut it up and put it in the blender. Just break that cantaloupe down, and it's the sweetest type of milk. We call it cantaloupe milk, even though there ain't no milk involved. It's real good though. All right. So if you're gonna eat melon, eat it alone so it'll pass through your digestive system and your stomach quickly. And it's a great form of an excellent, delightful drink, basically, or food. And we're gonna go into the second. We're gonna bridge on over here to the second part of this discussion, which is detoxing. You know, detailed detox plan is what I mentioned there. So we'll go into that right here. No doubt, brother. Self elevation. That is a positive move right there. Keep that going. You know what I'm saying? This is a transition. Stuff like that don't happen overnight. Like I know myself in my experience. I ain't just jumping to the fruits and vegetables. Like 80% thing or veganism and vegetarianism. I didn't just jump into it overnight. It took about 3 years to really get comfortable with the vegetarian thing, and then another 2 years to take the dairy out as far as being vegan. And it's still up and down within that whole thing. Just be strong, you know what I'm saying? Do what your body tells it, tell you to do. Basically, listen to your body. That's very important. Listen to ourselves. You know what I mean? Okay, I'm gonna go into the detoxing. Change this slide up. All right, so detoxing. How does detoxing work? Detoxing happens when the amount of inflammatory foods and drinks put into our mouth reduces. So that means the liver has the opportunity and a chance to work through those built up toxins. So detox is necessary when the metabolic waste from normal human metabolism or the environmental pollution like the allergens and stuff and what has become known as the SAD or standard American diet, the SAD diet has exceeded the threshold for what the body's natural cleansing system can do, the immune system can do or allow. So while this may sound like a simple physiological process, detoxing affects both the body and the mind. Physiologically speaking, it takes the average person 1 to 2 weeks to process alcohol, sugar, and wheat, which are all acidic, and have them completely removed from their system. So that, of course, if you're not adding additional sugar, wheat, and alcohol to the body during the detox process, then it takes about like again 1 to 2 weeks for that to get out of there. That sugar, that wheat, you know what I'm saying, and alcohol. So removing these foods and beverages from your diet for 2 weeks is a great way to cleanse our system. Um, Detoxing is not just about the physiological process, though, by releasing those, culprits like sugar, dairy, alcohol, even smoking. Detoxing is also deals with the ego or the mind. It shows itself in full force when detoxing by creating thoughts based on fear, disappointment, and doubt. So that ego, a lie, it'll cheat and steal to convince us that the negative thoughts that are forming are real and will go against in full force against the detoxing. So how do we defend ourselves from our ego? We must be very mindful of our thoughts and know the negative thoughts will appear and recognize that they're going to be there, but they're not your thoughts, but rather the ego mind and the personality that's been formed around those food items or things that we are putting into the body we were trying to purge out. So they have a signature, they have a stamp within our aura that needs to be purged out, basically. So remind yourself of this constantly. Use the 2 weeks. Remind yourself basically that it's not real. It's a hologram. You want to form a healthier, holistic hologram. You know what I'm saying? Whole message. Not just half the message, but the haphazard type of information that's being given to us by way of food and other things outside of us, external. So use those 2 weeks to, if you're going through a detox for 2 weeks, use the 2 weeks to create a journal of gratitude in your life for all the things, no matter how small or minute they may seem to you, just have gratitude for it. Even if it's, you put your shoe on, your left and right shoes on in the morning, write that in the journal. Give thanks, for that right there. Because when we're thinking positively, there's less space for negative thoughts, and it'll help with that, the cravings and things that may come through the mind. You know what I'm saying? And also a good um, thing to participate with would be meditation for at least like 5 minutes a day. Simply putting our attention on the breath will calm the mind and gives us like a break from all those vortexing um, images and memories that could distract us from the detoxing mind. So this is going to be like simple, natural detoxing. Some very simple ways to detox your body. Um, we know how valuable detox can be. So a proper cleansing or good eating habits for naturally detoxing the body can really assists one to reach amazing health benefits. So the notion of a simple detox program should be combined into a healthy lifestyle so as to give you the best outcome. So just as you focus on the foods that we eat and proper exercise, there should also be other elements to living your best and fittest lifestyle. Not only do these things factor into detoxing your body, but there are other simple and very effective ways to do so as well. So we can exercise and we can focus on the food items as being, what I like the food combining, but detoxing first and foremost should be the main ingredient because you want to get out that excess first of acidity, the mucus causing forming food items that we placed in there. So we would take a look at the most natural and certainly the most effective ways of getting those bad toxins out and then embracing the ingredients that your body really needs. All right, see that pick right there of the good green smoothie. Ew, so it ain't so juicy look, but it looks so healthy though. It look good. I want one right now. So replace a meal each day with a detoxifying smoothie. When it comes to like naturally cleansing the body, a great measure can be made just by replacing a meal a day with a detoxifying green smoothie. This isn't extreme, it won't cause any harm to the body, but it can be one of the best ways of getting rid of substances in our body that is not needed. It's very important not to go onto the trend thing too by going to get the smoothies out the store that have natural ingredients in it, but instead going to your kitchen and making your own smoothie from natural foods that we cleanse properly and what I'm saying, and we know what we're putting in there, what I'm saying. So this process can not only help with weight loss, but it also can help with the digestive system working the way it should. So make your own drinks at home instead of the chemically enhanced smoothies that we might buy at the grocery store, in the produce section. So turn into a smoothie for one of your meals is a great way to jumpstart your metabolism and to kick your digestive system into overdrive. You will notice the natural energy that you feel, and you also enjoy that some of the symptoms that you suffer with. You will also um, enjoy that some of the symptoms that you suffer with daily are gone with this natural boost. So how do you make a green smoothie? A green smoothie basically is 1 cup of kale or collard greens firmly packed, stems removed, coarsely chopped. Then just about 4 ounces of that. 1 Granny Smith apple chopped up, a ripe banana, 1/2 cup loosely packed fresh parsley leaves. Combine the kale, apple, banana, parsley, and 2 1/4 cups of water in a blender and blend until smooth. If the mixture is too thick, add a little bit more water. You know what I'm saying? You can also add stevia because stevia is basically empty. It doesn't have any nutrients in it, but it's sweet. Is it up a little bit? Oh, my bad. Turn to organic foods when possible. This is another way of detoxing. You don't have to eat only organic though. So certain foods that are necessity. The food list known as the Dirty Dozen contains a list of foods where if you can look that up. The Dirty Dozen, where it's a list where pesticides and preservatives are being used, insecticides, whatnot, and they can build up and therefore be consumed and ingested by you during digestion. The rule of thumb is that if you eat the peel of the outside of the fruit or the vegetable, you should really opt for organic. So like strawberries, apples, and tomatoes are good examples of those. So if you're going to buy or eat those things or grow them, make sure you're growing them organically and with no pesticides, insecticides, or herbicides on it. Um, when you choose the right organic foods, then you avoid the toxins that can be harmful to your health. This is a simple way of detoxing the body. You know what I'm saying? So at all times, try to be mindful of that at the grocery store. And I pulled up that picture a little early right there. Slow move. A good intense massage. We tend to think of massage as a luxury, you know, which it can be, but it depends on the type that you get and the way you're getting it and how and your lifestyle as well. So the way you use this is better. It can better your health and your life. Needless to say that if you are interested in getting rid of toxins in the body, you absolutely must get a good intense massage that focuses greatly on the pressure points within the body. A typical Swedish massage is good, but something more intense and focused like a sports massage can work even better. You want to get deep into the muscle tissue to make this work for you. When you push on these pressure points or spots where toxins tend to build up, then you give them a chance to release. This helps you to naturally detox the body and get rid of the things that may even be that have been making one sick. Be sure that this comes from a registered massage therapist and that they know what they are doing in terms of ridding the body of toxins. To make it work successfully, you want to drink a lot of water afterwards to flush out the system and be sure that the toxins leave the body immediately. Get into this as a regular habit and you will feel a very positive effect from it, above and beyond relaxation at the core. I do this once a month myself. I get a massage once a month, a deep athletic sports massage. And that, I mean, you go in and just take it. Just like you got to man up because it ain't soft. You know, elbows in the muscle blade, in the shoulder blades, hands deeply pressed against the spine, pushing the toxins out, moving energy. It's powerful, and you walk away like, whoa! I feel the next day. I think, yeah. Matter of fact, I got it Friday. We went to Carowinds the next day. I'm jumping all over the place. I mean, literally jumping up on benches and over stuff. People looking at me like I'm insane in the brain. I'm just having fun. We laughing and carrying on. Me and the Queen, we having a good old time. You know what I'm saying? But I had that massage the day before. You know, it releases a lot of blockages within the body. But monthly, you know, for the past few years, you know, and it's worth it. You know, $35 at when I go to for 30 minutes to 70 for an hour. You know, I get that 30 minutes in, I'm good. All right. Yeah, thanks. Drink water. Even if you think you are drinking enough water in a day, take your intake to a whole new level. If there's one thing that can easily and naturally help you to detox your body, it's definitely water. We tend to think that we're drinking enough when we really need to increase our intake intensely. And the Queen texted me and said it sounded like he was getting strangled. Yeah, I had to go get some water then to help flush that down. It's like I swallowed some saliva down the windpipe once again. Gotta be more careful. You got to be more careful. Water can help to flush out your system naturally. Proper water intake can contribute to clear skin, properly function organs, and a more effective circulatory, respiratory, and digestive system. So this is one simple substance that can offer great help to our entire body and the way that it functions. Forget all the rules that you have heard through the years about how much water is enough. 8 glasses is the minimum. So it's time to dramatically increase your intake if you want the best health benefits. Water should be your drink of choice and should be your choice with meals as well as before and after. You will see some of the health benefits readily and enjoy some of the longer term ones down the line. So, like I was saying, drink water first part of the meal. Allow those fluids to go through the body 5 to 15 minutes, depending on how large the meal is, and that will help with the function of the digestive system because you're putting those fluids in there first and help with elimination. It helps also with circulatory, respiratory, and as well as the digestive system. Replace the morning coffee with green tea. Green matcha tea is that. That's what the picture is of right there. A little caffeine is okay, but you do not want to. But you do want to be careful about how much you take in throughout a day or week. You also want to be careful about where you get your caffeine from and how much you take in at any one time. Though an occasional cup of coffee is fine, if you are after detoxifying the body, then you want to change things up a bit. Green tea offers important antioxidants that our body needs in the most natural form. It offers a slight caffeine boost that can help to get you jump started in the morning just as coffee does. So if you choose to replace your morning cup of coffee with a cup of green tea, you still get a caffeine boost and some actual health benefits as well. Learning to detox the body doesn't have to be complicated, but it does mean that you will have to make healthy choices that really work for you. This means that you will have to make some adjustments, but they will be well worth it. So change up the format of your morning coffee intake from acidic forming type of item being caffeine or coffee into a more alkalizing type of item such as green tea that also holds antioxidants as well as what's it called tannins, you know what I'm saying, that bring about that caffeine boost. If I'm not mistaken, it's the tannins in it. But it also helps with is an anti-inflammatory. Um, so there's more health benefits within drinking green tea than drinking that morning cup of joe. Get more exercise in. Sweat it out. You know what I'm talking about, without a doubt. We all know that exercise is an essential part of our true health regimen and that it helps with weight loss, but there is much more to it than that. When it comes to naturally and effectively cleansing the body, exercise can be a great option to turn to. Though many people don't think of exercise in this manner, it can be what helps you with the cleansing process dramatically. When you're exercising, you're not only helping the body to shed fat and excess weight, but you are also helping to get rid of toxins that may build up. As you sweat, these toxins can come out, and therefore the cleansing is taking place. Not only that, but you are also helping with digestion, circulation, and to keep the organs functioning as they should with a stimulating fitness routine. The perspiration, the breathing, and the movement all help the body to achieve fitness and to get rid of the bad and potentially harmful substances that have built up over time. If you opt to make exercise a regular function in your life, then you can assist the body in cleansing process on a regular basis. So sweat it out at the gym, not only because it makes you feel good and releases the best hormones, like stress hormone, it releases those feel good hormones versus the stress hormones, but also because it can help you to naturally cleanse in the process. I I had to go work out today. You know, it's at least 3 to 4 days out the week we should have some type of exercise regimen. Get 30 to 3 hours in to where we just burning it out, getting those things out because it's in the air we're breathing in, it's in the water, it's in our lifestyle and our interaction. So get that stress out of there, that darkness rising, and cleanse the body through exercise. Exercise is exercises, you know. So exercise is what exercise or exercise. X means to out. It means out. You know what I'm saying? Like exit. You know what I mean? So size is the other side, and basically means one who. So one who takes out from one side. You know what I'm saying? So we're taking out the physical stuff, and then we get that inner size going in. So we're putting it in. We take out to put in. You know what I'm saying? So we get that nutrition flowing, that nutrition. You know what I'm saying? The divine intelligence flowing properly. My bad. Eat more fiber in its most natural form. You probably heard it before that you need to be eating more fiber in your diet. Not only is this part of a healthy diet or a healthy way of taking in sustenance that will add to weight loss, but it's also an important way of cleansing the body in its most natural form. Fiber can be an excellent supplement for a variety of reasons, and cleansing is just one of them. Our bodies, especially our digestive tracts, tend to keep substances that enter after a while. So if this may be toxins, preservatives from foods that we eat, or just waste that is not being properly disposed of by the body. Whatever the cause, the end result is that you may feel bloated, weighed down, unusually tired, and therefore health problems may result out of this. When you establish a proper serving of fiber into your diet, it helps to keep the digestive tract working properly. This means that all toxins, excessive waste, and anything else that has built up in the digestive tract will move through rapidly. You feel healthier, and your digestive process works in the way that it is meant to. Um, so, fresh fruits and vegetables, beans and legumes, and whole grains are all excellent sources of fiber. Start slowly to avoid adverse effects, but when you become regular with your bowel movements, you will know that the cleansing is happening and the body is working in the way that it is intended to. I wouldn't recommend those starchy beans though, because it's gonna cause gas and fermentation a lot faster than eating the proper fruits and vegetables in the proper order, as well as the grains or um, that type of starchy food that holds fiber. You see the picture there. So you got split peas, lentils. Those are legumes or legumes. Avocado, artichoke, peas, another legume, or you want bean, but blackberries, coconut, raspberries, pears, broccoli, oats, Brussels sprouts. You see how many grams of fiber are intact. I eat an avocado every day. At least one avocado a day. Um, Blackberries I eat throughout the day. Raspberries and blackberries. Normally, sometimes if I do put something in the first part of the day, it might be a blackberry, raspberry, strawberry smoothie, and blend it on up. So high fiber foods naturally produced by nature. Try fasting for a day or two. You don't have to go to the extreme though, with fasting, but as so many cleansing programs will tell you to do so, simply fasting for a day or two and replacing foods with natural juices made from fresh fruits and vegetables can really help. You don't have to do this often, but you should make it a priority in your life. When you give your body a chance to rest in this dimension, then it has time to recover and revitalize. The organs don't have to be focused on digesting and breaking down food and potential toxins. So as they rest, they have a chance to recharge. And that means that you are going to come back from this with natural energy and a more active digestive system. Perform a fast like this when you have some time at home and can be away from any food temptations. Try to perform this on a weekend where it's much easier for you to fast and to let the body rest and recharge. You will be surprised at how much natural energy you feel and how much better you feel afterwards. So getting the fast like once to twice, twice a month, just like the enema whatnot or eliminating, twice a month. I try to get one in once a week. Sunday normally is the day that I fast, you know what I'm saying? But I increment fast every day, so I eat after 12 o'clock. I eat one meal a day, somewhere between 5 and 8 o'clock. Normally between 5 and 8 o'clock, but I start drinking heavier foods, and I may snack after 12. I drink heavier drinks like a smoothie. Normally I drink water and something like coconut water or something like that through the first part of the day. Maybe some almond milk, but I'll take in heavier food items, a smoothie, a veggie smoothie, or like the green smoothie or something like that after 12 o'clock, and I eat between 5 and 7. Um, get thanks. Getting through here. More sleep each night. Without proper sleep, you can compromise our immune system. So, and of course, you will lack natural energy. Sleep deprivation is unfortunately too common as we put this off in the interest of getting other things done. The problem is that lack of sleep can catch up on you after a while. The body wears down, and this shows through a compromised immune system. That means you get sick more easily. You know, like a lot of people that work that they call it the graveyard shift for a reason, or they work that third shift. You know, their immune system has been compromised because they're not following the well, you know what I'm saying? This is the job that they've taken. So, you know, being an allowance to that job and going in at 3 o'clock, I mean, going in at 11 and staying up from 11 to 7 or how long it's going to be, and not being in that rest mode where we're forming those different hormones and fluids like melatonin at night that helps produce, it helps strengthen the immune system and produce antioxidants and anti-inflammatories as well as free radicals. Um, it can cause or obstruct the immune system. So also decrease our energy, which can cause us to make unhealthy choices for ourselves when we feel exhausted. So when you try to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep each night, you give your body a chance to rest and improve. This is not a luxury, but an important way that your body rebuilds and prepares for the activities that we have planned for the next day. So most definitely get those 7 to 8 hours in, and possibly at the right time of day. Probiotics to get rid of the bad bacteria and welcome in good bacteria. This is a powerful substances to help naturally eliminate bad bacteria in the body. You can turn to certain foods for probiotics, and you can also find them in supplement form. I'll put two pictures up there. See, you got your yogurt, your Kempe, kefir, sauerkraut, uh, pickles over there, fermented foods, basically fermented food items. Um, they can be great help in not only helping to regulate the bacteria that builds up in your intestines, but also in your ability to get rid of these harmful substances once and for all. Since the digestive tract is the most obvious area where these substances can build up, probiotics are an obvious and very helpful tool to assist one in those, building up the necessary items such as what is it, the friendly bacteria or the friendly mucosa. You know what I'm saying, that helps break down those things that are not necessary for digestion. If you turn to them regularly, then you can expect to have a fully functional digestive system and to ensure that the presence of these good bacteria will keep you from developing any health problems moving forward. So again, um, friendly bacteria. Learn to incorporate superfoods into each meal. The great thing about superfoods is that they contain important nutrients and antioxidants which our bodies need to fight off infections. The presence of these antioxidants and nutrients in the body help to fight off harmful toxins and substances that may compromise our immune system and overall health. So the addition of them in our diets is critical. Superfoods are a delicious and nutritious group of foods, including foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids like salmon or salmon, tuna, avocado, walnuts, almonds, olive oil, flaxseed. You can also turn to fruits and vegetables that are bright in color, as that means that the dark hue contains plenty of antioxidants. So eating at rainbows, and there's like blueberries, raspberries, spinach, kale, eggplant, tomatoes, carrots, sweet potatoes, apples, oranges, butternut squash. Basically, all food items that are veggies and fruits are superfoods as well as grains. You know what I'm saying? They're superfoods. Those things, those type of food items have all the right elements within it to produce detoxing as well as produce a natural, healthy lifestyle, healthy body, mind, emotions, and spirit. And forgive me, I had to that picture up a minute ago. I had the wrong picture up. Like cut out simple carbohydrates, white sugar, and flour, and any fried foods. The white bread that you probably enjoyed as a kid is doing absolutely nothing for your overall health. The starchy sides at dinner, like white rice or pasta, are as damaging to your waistline and your health as the more extreme donuts, cakes, and cookies that we enjoy. Many people don't understand just how harmful products made with white sugar or flour can be, but they result in toxins in the body that you don't want. These simple carbohydrates make you feel full and satisfied when you eat them, but behind the scenes you are experiencing a surge that then fall off your blood sugar levels. This isn't good for your appetite or your health. The same terrible consequences of simple carbohydrates are a major component of the very toxins that build up in your digestive system. These are not the types of substances or preservatives that you need, and that's why fiber rich whole grains and complex carbohydrates are so vital to your health. They ensure that the digestive system works the way that it is intended to. So, as you move towards complex carbohydrates, which are better for your digestion, you also want to be sure that you get rid of the simple carbohydrates in this process. The rise and fall of blood sugar is not good for weight loss, and the deposit of preservatives and harmful substances result in toxins that can slow you down and ultimately make you sick in the process. All right, so cutting out simple carbohydrates like bread, sugar, white sugar, or flour. You know what I'm saying? Um, rice, white rice, basically, or pasta like that, made from wheat and all, spaghetti and lasagna, manicotti or something, ricotti, or I don't know. But those things, like they're toxic to the body over time. So most definitely attempt to get those things up out of there. Don't continue to utilize those food items as a form of nutrition. Elimination through proper diet and hydration. The truth is that most of us don't properly eliminate each day. Unless you are very regular with your bowel movements and even your urination, you are holding on to waste in the body that needs to not to be there. So this is where you must really focus some determined effort on elimination and put major emphasis on the diet that you keep and how hydrated you are. Start by taking a long, hard look at your diet and then work your way out of from there. Are you eating enough fiber each day? Are you eating the right foods such as fresh fruits and vegetables, lean proteins, beans and legumes, whole grains, good fats, and low fat diet? Remember, beans, maybe not so much, you know what I'm saying? How much water do you realistically drink in a day? Do you find yourself feeling unusually thirsty at any point? How often do you urinate throughout the day? How often do you have bowel movements? Believe it or not, these are all important questions for your health and for learning to naturally and effectively cleanse. If you are dehydrated, that's not good for your overall health. Not only that, but it also means that you are not getting enough water to flush out your digestive system properly and move the toxins out. If you aren't eating enough fiber or mix of the right foods, then you simply aren't evacuating enough. If you don't have enough bowel movements, that waste material can end up being stored by the body, and the result is that it turns into toxins. This is nothing that you may want to think about, but it can contribute to an unhealthy and improperly working system in the body. Start to look at ways that you can promote proper digestion and elimination. Drinking more water and ensuring that you are never dehydrated is one way. Keep flushing out the bad toxins. Eating the right foods with a major focus on fiber is another way. And an important way, and an important one that ensures that you move the waste material out of the body. Keep track of these things and make the necessary changes to ensure that urination and evacuation are happening regularly to keep things moving along properly. So regular in, regular out. If you're putting it in, it should come out within 12 to 18 hours. eliminate common sources of toxins such as excessive caffeine, alcohol, tobacco, and processed foods. The very things that we turn to for bad habits or to use as relaxation techniques or whatnot or items can contribute to our inability to cleanse. The most obvious is tobacco in any form, but of course, smoking being the most common type. Smoking offers only harmful substances into your body, such as nicotine, which of course can contribute to long term health problems. You might not realize it, but excessive alcohol or caffeine can act much in the same way. Having a bit of caffeine or alcohol isn't the problem.
I thought you were live or something when I walked
I
out.
am live. Yeah, I'm live. What's up?
Don't lie to me.
Yeah, I am. It's
Is
just
that the white button?
the,
The white.
the okay.
Ooh, what's
All right.
up, guys? Oh my gosh.
All right, niece.
Yeah,
Niecey. See you, Supergirl. What you looking for?
I want to read one of your books.
Oh, okay. That's peace. Where were we? You might not realize, but excessive alcohol or
Is this
caffeine
Greek?
can act much in the same way. No, it's mental natir.
Oh,
It's African script. Having a bit of caffeine or alcohol isn't the problem, but when you binge or drink too much of either, it's not a good thing. Over time, these can turn into toxins that the body can't process. You will feel the dependence and the health problems will keep mounting. The same goes for processed foods, fried foods, or others that are made with unnatural ingredients. Anything that doesn't come from the earth or that has chemically enhanced ingredients isn't good for your ability to naturally cleanse or feel healthy and strong. So, what we're saying is tobacco, an excessive amount of caffeine and alcohol. You need to take that out if you want to detox properly. You want to take those items out your daily habits or your daily routine for good, really. But basically, especially in the 2 week process of detoxing. Meditation. Incorporate meditation to your daily lifestyle. We have seen just how helpful yoga can be for your body and mind, but take it one step further. Just as exercise helps to get rid of toxins, so can meditation. It's good for you mentally, and that means exceptional benefits for the entire body as well. When you meditate, you are slowly and gently detaching from everyday life, and this means that you are letting go of what is troubling you. When you can detach in this way, you are letting go of stress and anxiety. Over time, this stress and anxiety will build up and keep your body from operating at and keeps your body at operating in full capacity. So releasing these negative elements helps you to be at better health. When stress takes over your life, you are not in your best health, and your body is bogged down with toxins and anxiety that keeps you from being your best. Learning to incorporate meditation into your everyday life can ensure that you let go of any built up tension, anxiety, and stress. This is good for your mental health, of course, but it also translates to immediate benefit to your physical well being in the process. You will love the direct and indirect benefits of meditation as part of a healthy lifestyle. You have a question, Nixie?
no, I just want to watch you
Okay.
in person
I
since I
feel
don't
you.
have social media.
Well, that's a good thing that you don't have social media, actually. It's a very valuable that you have your own mind. All
I
right.
know how my mom controls my
Social
mind.
media is cool, though, if you know how to use it properly.
I know how to use it.
All right. Well, let's not get into that right now. Okay. All right. Oh, yeah. Here we go. So this is what we should do at least once a month, and also have a daily routine is perform a full body cleanse at least once a month, but also have some type of routine again throughout the day, throughout each week to get rid of those toxins that are built up. So take the time to naturally cleanse daily using some of the most natural and common food items that you probably already have in the cupboard. Um, Items such as grapefruit, basil, garlic, onions, green tea, mustard greens, walnuts, and avocado will help your body to cleanse on a regular basis. Take it one step further though, as you get used to the idea of a full body cleanse and make this a regular habit. Perform a full body cleanse when you plan to be at home for a day or two, and then see the immediate positive impact that this has as the toxins literally come spilling out of the body. And don't be alarmed and triggered when when you see what comes out, basically. There are many ways to cleanse the body in this manner, but you want to go from the homemade option. You want to go for the homemade option if possible. While there are many man-made concoctions and proven solutions out there, some of the best types come from your creation specifically. Always be sure to go with a trusted source of recipe, and there are so many out there that to choose from that just look them up. You know what I'm saying? But one of the most common ones that I personally use is the recipe that has lemon, maple syrup, cayenne, all in it. So what you do is you pour 1 tablespoon of cayenne pepper into a 10-ounce glass. You add 4 tablespoons. Let me take that back. You put half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper into a 10-ounce glass. You add 4 tablespoons of freshly squeezed lemon juice. Then you fill the glass with warm water, that's warm water, and stir it thoroughly. Then add half a teaspoon of organic maple syrup to sweeten the mixture if desired. So you can put that maple syrup in there, which is acidic, but it's going to help with keeping the minerals that you need in your body during the detox. So drink on an empty stomach, and each month do this to cleanse your colon. So the cayenne pepper breaks down mucus in your colon, while lemon juice eliminates the toxins. Do take the time to experiment with your threshold for cayenne pepper because you don't want to hurt your stomach, and be prepared that this can cause immediate reaction and that it may be unusual for the first time if you're doing it for the first time. You know what I'm saying? But it's a good way to cleanse. You're gonna go straight to the bathroom within a few hours. But this is not intended for weight loss, but rather for a good natural cleanse that your body needs um, no more than once a month. Another possible cleansing recipe to try is the apple ginger psyllium cleanse, and the recipe for that is juice enough apples to fill about an 8-ounce glass. If you don't have a juicer, fill the glass with organic apple juice. If you don't have a juicer or a blender, add 1 teaspoon each ground ginger and ground psyllium husk. Good night, niece. Mix thoroughly or blend on low until smooth. All right, so you get that 1 teaspoon of each ground ginger and 1 teaspoon of psyllium husk. Mix thoroughly and blend it on low until smooth. Psyllium bonds waste materials together while ginger flushes toxins from the colon, so it's a great combination. The nutrients or the nutrition, you know what I'm saying? Again, nutrition, the bond, intelligence, and the apple juice will support your colon during the cleanse. Do be sure to drink plenty of water after this cleanse to keep the digestive system moving. You can enjoy some light eating after you perform this cleanse, but give it time to take effect. A proper cleanse using these or other natural methods performed once a week can be the best thing you can do to get rid of toxins and keep things moving the way that they are tended to. Always go for the natural best effects. So you can do that apple, psyllium, ginger cleanse once a week. The other one, the cayenne, maple syrup, and lemon cleanse, that's once a month. Both of them are good ways to detox the body throughout the month. Um, Wrapping it up in a few minutes here. Get into the benediction, the closing. So learn to truly take care of yourself. Truly take care of yourself. Because ain't nobody else going to take care of you but you. Listen to your body again. Listen to your body when it's telling you something is not working right. Learn to be in touch with what your body is telling you and then react accordingly to what it's telling you. And this will ensure that you are not only keeping yourself in the best health, but also that you will perform a cleanse when it's necessary. Sometimes you can just feel it from a general lack of energy or fatigue, which is unusual for you. So symptoms that we tend to take for granted as everyday ailments can often be suggestive of the fact that our bodies are holding onto toxins. This ultimately means that a cleanse is important, and we must learn to pay close attention to these symptoms and indications. We know our bodies better than anyone, and if something doesn't seem right, then it's best to pay close attention to that. If you are having frequent headaches, stomach upset, diarrhea, constipation, feel exhausted, experiencing cramping, difficulty focusing, lack of energy, or any other symptoms that don't feel right, then always take the time to listen to your body. This will ensure that you notice something is amiss and that you can likely pinpoint that cleanse is required. So, detoxing is required. You will get into these good habits in no time at all. You will learn which methods and tools work best for you to cleanse properly and to take the measures to do so. You will also learn to be better at listening to your body and making the best decisions for your overall health. This is a very powerful step, and it comes from awareness and the initiative to act when something doesn't seem right within the body. So overall, take care of yourself, because ain't nobody gonna take care of you but you. And so the eye's the lamp of the body. If your eye's healthy, your whole body will be full of light. Like we was talking about last week. Remember, you want to put something in that's going to help with producing a holistic, healthy body, healthy whole. Same derived from the same thing, holos. You know what I'm saying? Hala, hal in German, whole, healthy. All right, so you want that whole body. You know what I'm saying? The immortal body, the whole body. You will definitely want to detox first, and then learn the correct processing of those nutritions, the chemistry of nutrition by correct food combining. So we want that eye to get that energy, that lamp, to get that light flowing properly. Hollow, haru, but light. You want that sun energy to get in there, you know what I'm saying, and flow through the body to where the growth, needs sun and water, so where that growth takes place, and it's more effective. And that's that transitioning or that transmutation. And basically that, you know, that is knowledge itself. So self-knowledge has no beginning and no end. It is a constant process of discovery. And what is discovered is true, and truth is liberating and creative. Knowledge itself. You have knowledge of all type of things out here as far as participating with the physical reality, but what is I say? Who are we? When we break it all the way down to the unseen aspect, that's that nutrition. You know what I'm saying? Nutrition, that divine intelligence, nutrition, that divine breath, that inanimated being, that undifferentiated energy matter. Here, there, and everywhere. We're looking at something that's right here in front of us as the hologram, but that hologram, again, Haru Garam, the silent light of the mind, that nutrition, that, again, that divine intelligence. All right, so the chemistry of nutrition, Kem, that's three again, that's the darkness that sits on the boat of the divine intelligence. Ra, you know what I'm saying? That Amen Ra means hidden, so that's dark also. It also means loyal, but it means dark, hidden, or loyal. Amin. So Amun Ra, the dark light, or the dark intelligence, the dark energy. So that darkness that sits on the boat, you know what I'm saying? Tra also means seasons. So that darkness um, that cycles through the seasons within the divine intelligence, or the divine spirit, the Tishin. So remember to relax. Relaxation is the key. Give thanks, Brother Kaya, for putting that information into my think tank, and I learned that relaxation is very valuable. It is the key. Staying relaxed, deep breathing, meditating, tai chi, qigong, whatever you're gonna do, yoga, deep breathing when you're eating or driving, you know, takes the edge off all that stress. You know what I'm saying? That the overreactive mind, that monkey brain, it helps out in life. We become more mindful of all our actions, and helps us endure or bring about a better exchange of the energies as they flow. You don't want to be so caught up to where we form an ideology within our own personality or whatever of the things that we thinking is real in our experience, and we become so accustomed to reacting to it in that way that that's what it's going to be. Like when we were, me and the Queen were at Carowinds yesterday, and as soon as we walk in, they go to Starbucks. They go Cinnabon, I think is what it's called. And then you got these little hot dog pretzel stands with pizza and cheeseburgers, all these different type of colorful establishments that draws our attention in. And if we're accustomed to that physical activity inside of that entrainment process as well as the epigenetics of it, then of course we're gonna run in there and get a cup of coffee or whatever. And the most unhealthiest things that we could participate with as far as physically, emotionally, and mentally, and because we have no connection of that knowledge of self or the knowledge of who we are spiritually. So we went in there, just like we go to a grocery store and it's like, nah, that ain't. But we ain't eat nothing there at all. We just had a good. We ate the information of happiness and enjoying ourselves with each other, you know what I'm saying, which was peace. You know, but that takes a little, I guess, discipline. I don't know, you know what I'm saying, because we could have just ate everything, or went to every um, vendor that was out there and been like, let me get that, let me get one of those, So I don't think we did purchase was a picture someone drew of us. Within 5 minutes, he drew one of those conceptual type of visual creative things, whatever, real quick, which is real cool though. You know what I'm saying? It made us look like cartoons, basically. But just going through those different phases, and I'm gonna bring that to the table within the Watch the Cemetery courses again that I will be offering here from December 6th to January 31st. Give thanks to whoever may want to participate. If you don't get in touch with me by email, I didn't put my number up there, but my number is 336 because I'm thinking that the PayPal is inactive at the moment, so I'm going to have to get that back jumping. And I will give you another means to put that forward. The reason that is a payment, I do have to pay for the actual um, program that will allow me to go back and forth with you guys live, bring up my screens, because I can't bring up my screen on this program as far as sharing my screen and it be like no problems, you know what I'm saying, as far as buffering and everything. And then I'm giving you guys like some videos and everything as well as written information that I don't really put out there like that. It's going to be a part of the book, fitting into those genes that I'm working on, but it's going to be some valuable information inside of that. For $10 a week is pretty cool. But again, thanks to whoever wants to participate with that. It's for those that choose to, and it's for those that are meant to be involved with it. So, just look into it. Like I said, I just shot my number out there. I'll put, but well, you see my email address. You can message me through there, email me, and at 12th Density Productions at yahoo.com. So that's TWELFT Density Productions at yahoo.com. And I'll get back with you as far as how to supply that gift, you know what I'm saying, towards the 9-week course.
Yeah, ATD, above the dome, trapper free.
My bad. All right, so again, we're gonna close it out. That was this is Elohee closing out with Soulful Soul Food Sunday, chemistry of nutrition, correct food combining, and a detox plan. I want to give thanks to everyone that participated within this course tonight. You know what I'm saying? Give thanks to everybody for listening and having the time and space to be involved with this. I'm getting a message. Hold up. I don't have my glasses on. Yeah, I know, right? All right, so everyone have a very meaningful and positive and bliss remaining of the evening, and I will see you, or we will have another one going on next Sunday, Ishnallah, God willing. All right. I appreciate you. Yeah, no doubt. Love you. All right. So y'all have a good night. I'm gonna bring in a song of choosing here as we fade to black.
The Nagas. Yeah. Step into place in my b-boy stance. Weapons advance, your A-team don't stand a chance. Nick Cage with the face off. This monument's erased out. Air race clouds, 5 elements produce sound. We're circled around in a cipher, no lighter. Raising suns higher, phoenix fire. Passing in transition, the Nagas here to pay a visit. Unblinding justice spirit, ain't no riddle. Played fiddles, I'm sitting in the middle of the kennel eating vittles. Quite simple, put 7 dimples in your temple. Slow your tempo, ready stance Kempo. Energy transference, mental slurs into prolific abstract words. Futures known, past remembered, present forgotten. Sipping bubbles, far-sighted Hubble. Uncover the double
the son of Azar, a gift from the gods who rule flying through the sky with golden wings, submerged into the light, knighted by the golden king with the scepter of justice. Melanin cultivating chi until we are Ethereans, brightly becoming one with the righteous sun. Solar, souls of Ra, magnificent glow with unconditional love, scattered rays for days from the heavens above. Soul below, the soul is trapped in the lowest depths of hell, incarnated into 76 trillion cells. To break free, we must be defined masculine and feminine properties combined.
The devil is the author of confusion. 183,000 divisions in religions, denominations, sex, codes, schisms, and isms. Yo, isn't it written in your Bible that Jesus spoke in parables? The scriptures and gospels aren't just historical. Many passages weren't even meant to be taken as literal. Most of it is allegorical, based on esoteric principles. Baptist versus Methodist, Pentecost holiness versus Jehovah's Witness, Mormons versus Seventh-day Adventists, skeptics, atheists, and agnostics, or divine conquer tactics of the reptilians, lower fourth-dimensional aliens. So beware the draconian Satanists. Their aim is to imprison all true beings through ignorance, or be crushed in the Leviathan. Battle mind control, subliminal suggestions, and brainwashing indoctrinations using religion, politics, and education, economics, health, and labor. Yo, entertainment and war. Yo, sex and law. Yo, in the chessboard game called life, we all been pawns. Puppets on strings controlled by demonic spawns. But you can't run with the devil and walk with God.
and walk with God. You can't run with the devil and walk with God. You can't run with the devil and walk with God. You can't run with the devil and walk with God. Run with the devil and walk with God. You can't run with the devil and walk with God. You can't run with the devil and walk with God.
I had to. A little retro. It's the Metal Magician. Expect nothing. You know when highs turn to lows and lows turn to highs. Black water. Black action once again. Giving black. Yeah, giving black. A little migration. Minus the stagnation. Elevation. The power of the melanation, eliminating imposters, block the radar, chart the stars, cosmic dust, moves rust from eroding cars. I'm Logan, sitting in Lotus at the dojo with Shogun, loading bars and hookahs. Some claim the baller or the shooter, top shotter, name caller. I'm the bell ringer, missing Dale singer, screech say by the hell bringer. A loose pin in my head, cause my dread to fall out. No fear of rules and regulations, laws that have flaws with claws to crawl out. The beast of the belly, flaming heat, torching streets, got me reaching for the Cali, about to go all out. Yeah, my highs turn to lows, my lows turn to highs, my lows.
Peace, prosperity, protection,
Yeah, I had to.
and good health. Again, it's peace, prosperity, protection, and good health. Peace.